Apologies for the sniffing. I have a very bad head cold.
Hi and welcome to my channel. As my description says, a Geordie mum of 4, juggling whatever that brings and learning to sew. And I'm crazy because what you see here, is going to be my first proper sewing project. I've made a teddy bear twice. First one didn't go so well. Second one, that's a little better. If I can find some photos, I will share them. I've made face masks. Obviously, in the last 18 months, face masks have been a big deal for everyone who sews. I've also made some cloth menstrual pads. Curves are a work in progress on those. Some of them have come out quite well, others not so bad, but this is going to be my first cosplay or costume, and I'm hoping to learn enough to make this as historically accurate as possible. Watch this space. I am planning a mock-up of all of this. At some point I will get started. This is why I'm starting this channel, because if I don't, I am never going to do any more sewing for myself in this kind of thing, because I am a big geek, big nerd, Star Trek for life, live long and prosper. But I'm also a huge period drama fan. Outlander, if you haven't seen it or read the books, please do. It is a great series. So yes, I am going to be doing the Outlander inspired costume first. I have this from Ikea. It was a couple of quid in the sale, so I have 3 or 4 of these because I'll get at least 4 meters, I think, just from the duvet cover, plus a couple of meters in with all the pillowcases. So this is going to be for my initial mock-ups. And then I have this nice paisley kind of print, which again was also in the sale for a couple of quid each, so I have 3 or 4 of these. Hopefully enough fabric to make a full fancy dress. And to help me along the way, and I want to apologize right now because if this camera is shaky, my setup is on my bed. So if my camera is shaking, I apologize. This is the only room in the house with the best light, especially at this time of year. It is October 14th, 2021, so apologies for the shaking, but moving on. I have this to help me along the way. I have watched every video from these lovely ladies. Well, I've definitely watched all of Abby's, some of them multiple times. I love the way she does her YouTube videos. She's hilarious. I'm also a big fan of Bernadette Banner. I'm hoping I've got that right because I'm using my phone to record this, and my iPad is charging, so I can't look up names. But Bernadette, I love her work. She's just amazing, and she's now inspired me to go and find a very early Singer trestle machine. Don't know where I'd put it. After all, as I said, I'm a mum before, so there are 6 of us in this 3-bed house in the northeast of England, so I struggle for space as it is, but one day, maybe, hopefully, who knows. This book is wonderful. It is full of great inspiration and pictures to help you along the way with different parts. It's a great book. I've read it at least 3 times because lockdown, thank you. But as you can see, it's got loads of great content. There's also one about hair and makeup in the 18th century, which is on my to buy list. At some point I will buy that book, but right now I'm concentrating on the outfit. So obviously there is a cape. This is I do have another cape pattern, which is actually I have 2, part of another thing. Did I find the right one? So I also have this one, but I'm just not a fan of the hoods on these. The hood shape on those. I like a nice, I prefer a nice big hood. also have another pattern, fantasy cosplay one, which has a cape, but again, I'm not too sure on this hood, but I do prefer this one because of the hood shape. So yep, that is going to be made at some point. It will be a nice, I'm thinking a nice heavy one for the winter because, as I said, it's October, but there's no way I'm going to get all this done anytime soon. So we're aiming for next Halloween because there's no way I'm going to have it done for this year, but that's another thing. Now, I have these two dress patterns. This is the American Duchess version, and this is one of the official Outlander patterns. This one has just 2 parts to the main dress. Technically 3 if you make one of these in one of the skirts into a petticoat, plus the handkerchief around the neck. There's also, I believe, a stomacher on this one, on the bodice part. I have actually looked at this, not that you can tell, but I have looked at this. So yes, but there's all these lovely bits for that pattern. And this one I think is a very similar pattern, with the skirt, the petticoat. Yeah, so you've got like the main part of the dress. I think this is gown on here, and petticoat. It actually says petticoat in the small print. Well, yes, bodice and petticoat here. This is the gown with stomacher and petticoat apparently, and this is bodice. I think this one. I think this is the one I want to use to make like a fancy evening version at some point. This would be like the fancy version. And I think I'll do this one like as an everyday pattern Sunday best thing. I know they'll look pretty much identical. The Outlander one has the little skirt on the bottom of the bodice, compared to this one which doesn't. This is just the like, there you go, the top part. There's no like little tabs at the bottom, little frills. This one obviously does, so yeah, this will probably be like Sunday best, fancy, and this one will just be everyday work woman, because I'm not gonna go super fancy. I'm living on a budget after all. These I all got in the sale on Amazon at some point, so these haven't cost us too much. And yep, we have this one, the underpinnings, which is way after watching, I'm not even sure how many hours of YouTube footage and tips and tricks. Everyone sees start with the underpinnings, so this is where I'm starting. This should be fun. So obviously I'm going to start with this one first, which is the chemise or shift, which will be worn under the stays and the bum pad. The bum pad is going to be the second part of this project, because I am doing as everyone says and working my way outwards. So I will start with the shift, then onto the bum pad, then the stays. These are scaring me a little, but again, I have watched, I don't even know how many hours, just at least 100 hours of different videos all over YouTube, from people who make stays and corsets for a living, to cosplayers, costumers, historical costumers, about making stays, and I will probably continue to watch those repeatedly. The first versions of everything, just so I know if it will be machine made, just until I've got the fit right, especially on the stays. I've got to get the fit right on those, or the rest of it's not going to look right. So I'm going to make a mock-up on the machine, on my sewing machine. Hopefully it won't go too bad, and then once I've made the rest on the machine, is my first initial like try of this pattern, just to get used to it all. I will go back, having taken, I'm hoping, lots of notes. I do have a notebook ready, waiting to go. I'm going to go back and do it all as historically accurate as living with 4 young kids will allow me. So yes, this pattern has the shift, the bum pad, which I have a lot of scraps from the last year of face mask making to cut up and stuff this with. And then we have our stairs. The stairs require quite a fair bit of trimmings, as you can see. It needs, this actually uses grommets. These are tied, these have grommets in the front for the tying, and in the back I'm gonna make it as the pattern says, with the front and back lacing, but I know that isn't, I don't want to say 100% not accurate for the time period of the late 18th century, which is my aim, and I'm hoping to do eventually just a front lacing stay, if that makes sense. Probably just to some of you, not everyone, but you'll get it. But yes, this has grommets, ribbon, bias tape. It actually says to use zip ties or cable ties for the fawning, which is something I'm going to try in my first mock-up to just save money and time, because I do actually already have quite a few cable ties in the house, so that will save me just a little bit of money. It also requires sandpaper, and that is to sand down the end of the cable ties so they don't end up getting a sharp point and sticking through the fabric and just ruining straight away. So I have those in the house. As for the material in my shift, I have been to Ikea. They do cheap cotton. It's £2 or £3 a meter, I think. Yeah, it's really cheap. It's less than €5 a meter. I will post a link down below when I figure out how to do that, because this is only like my second ever video for YouTube. But I will post links to where I got my patterns, my fabric, the book. Obviously, I will post a link for that as well. But yes, I have fabric from Ikea to make the shift. The bum pad, I actually plan to use up some fat quarters. I seem to have a bit of a problem. It's like addiction to buying Aldi multi-packs of fat quarters. Usually there's at least half the pack is a really great print that I love, and that's why I've picked it up in the first place. The rest of the pack, I'm not so sure on, so I'm going to use some of the fat quarters that I have that I'm not entirely into to just make this, which will mean piecing probably several pieces together to make both sides plus the frill, which would be accurate for the time, because come on, they used piecing a lot in the 18th century. This I may use again fat quarters. I'm not into, just for the mock-up, just so I can, you know, figure out the fit, any changes I need to make to the actual pattern for my body measurements. But yeah, I'm gonna use fat quarters for that. I think I'll probably use grommets for the mock-up. I don't know yet. I might hand sew the eyelets, because I do have a, I want to call it it's not an L, it's spelled with an A. You poke holes in the fabric. If you're sewing, you'll know what I'm talking about, especially if you're into historical costumes. It's used a lot. You'll know what I'm on about, to make the holes, and I might hand sew them. I don't know yet. But yeah, I want to use the fat quarters that I don't like for my mock-ups, for the stays, and for the bum pad. Ikea fabric for that. I have my 2 sets of cheap Ikea bedding to make my first initial versions of these 2. Possibly enough to make a petticoat as well. I'll not know for sure until I actually double check all my measurements. I have taken them, but I'm also trying for myself to lose weight, so I am watching what I eat, going to the gym a couple of times a week. And I know it's, for me personally, that's going to be a very gradual process to lose the amount of weight I want to lose. So yeah, I have my Ikea bedding, sale bedding to make this and this, and potentially this. I do have a pair of lovely brocade gold cream curtains that I managed to pick up from the charity shop for like a tenner. Absolutely huge. I'm pretty sure there's enough fabric in those curtains to make this, and potentially enough left over for I don't know what. But yeah, so I have curtain material for that. I have my Ikea bin and fabric for that. I will attempt to use the 18th century dressmaking book to help me along the way. I also have Patterns of Fashion 5, which is the book on stays and corsets from the School of Historical Dress. I'm planning to get the rest of those books at some point. They actually look really good and really informative. What else? What else can I think of? Yes, so if you like this video, please click that like button, subscribe, comment, hit the bell for notifications on all the up and coming trouble from all of this, because I will be sharing not just, you know, those perfect videos you see on YouTube of everything going perfectly the first time, going perfectly every step of the way. I will be showing the frustrating parts, the ugly seams, mistakes, the warts and all, because I know at some point something will go horribly wrong, and not showing you that isn't right. You have to show the warts and all versions of everything. So yes, that is my plan. I am making an Outlander outfit, warts and all. Please join me on my journey. Hopefully I can pull this off. I'm really hoping so, because it would be nice to go to, living in the northeast of England, there's many Comic-Cons in an actual outfit that I haven't bought, that I have made myself. There is nothing wrong with store-bought. I have several that I have gotten through Etsy. But it'd be nice, now that I have some basic knowledge of hand and machine sewing, to make something that I really, really, really want. But these outfits made by someone else are very expensive. Like a set of handmade stays will set you, personally for me, I have looked, they would be several £100 just for a set of stays, handmade to my measurements. Another 100, anywhere between 50 to 100 plus for a shift. Bum pads, they are relatively cheap. Personally, I found ones for like 50 quid. But getting a homemade dress and cape is not, handmade dress and cape made to your measurements is not going to be cheap. So I can make these handmade, brilliant. It would save me a fortune. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell, and I will see you all again soon with the shift in progress. I will be showing all the steps. So yeah, see you then.